My husband tried to take my daughter's college fund. I said no, and it ended my marriage. I never imagined I would one day be in a situation where my daughter's future would become the center of a major conflict in my marriage. But here I am, trying to protect something that was never meant to be shared, something that exists only because my daughter lost her father too soon. My daughter is 17 now, but when she was 7, we lost her dad to an accident that should never have happened. It still hurts to think about, even after all these years. When the settlement was eventually awarded, it was given to me. I wasn't struggling financially at the time. I had always worked and supported our little family. So after covering what we needed, I placed most of the settlement into a trust meant specifically for her. I wanted that money to stay hers, to help her with college, maybe graduate school, and then still leave her with something extra as she entered adulthood. It was the closest thing to an inheritance her father could leave behind. She has always understood that. She knows where that money came from. She knows it exists because her father isn't here to watch her grow up. She has never treated it lightly, and she would trade every cent of it just to have him back. So would I. 6 years after her dad passed, I remarried. My husband is a good man in many ways and came with 2 kids of his own, a daughter the same age as mine and a younger son. All the kids lived with us full time, with his kids visiting their mom only during longer breaks since she lives across the country. We agreed early on that we wouldn't nickel and dime each other for who paid for what. We both had careers, and we both contributed to household expenses, raising the kids together without keeping score. He never paid for my daughter's daily needs alone, nor did I pay for his kids alone. We shared the role of parenting and supporting all 3. Now the girls are both graduating high school and preparing for college. My daughter applied early decision to her dream school, her father's alma mater, and the day she got accepted, she burst into tears. She pulled out his old, worn sweatshirt that she's kept all these years, and I swear it felt like he was there in the room with us. Her stepfather and I were both so proud. She worked incredibly hard to get in. My stepdaughter also got into a wonderful college, one of the best schools for her interests. I'm truly happy for her. She deserves it just as much as my daughter deserves her dream school. The problem isn't about the kids, it's about the money needed to send them. My stepdaughter's tuition is high enough that even with the college fund her parents saved for her, because yes, my husband did save for his children, it still isn't enough. She'll have to take loans. In total, she'd graduate with around $40,000 in debt. It isn't a small amount, but compared to what some students face, it's manageable. If she works during summers or earns some scholarships, it could even be less. And my husband and I always planned to help her here and there when we could. My daughter, on the other hand, will graduate without debt, thanks to the trust, and that's where the conflict began. My husband suddenly decided that this was unfair. He told me he wanted us to split my daughter's fund into 3 equal parts so all 3 kids could go to college debt-free. He argued that since they're siblings now, everything should be fair and equal. He said my daughter should be happy to share because it would help her brother and sister start life on better footing. But splitting the fund would mean my daughter suddenly loses the future her father's settlement was intended to protect. She'd have no safety cushion after college. She'd have to take loans for graduate school, which she already dreams of attending. She would essentially give up her inheritance so that my husband's kids could have what theirs was never meant to include. I told my husband no. Firmly, that money isn't mine to redistribute. It belongs to my daughter. She only has it because her father died. It isn't shared marital property, and it isn't a general family fund. It is a piece of her father's love, carved out of tragedy. I reminded him that both he and his ex-wife saved for their children, but that their college funds simply don't fully cover the cost of the school my stepdaughter chose. And I never asked his daughter to go somewhere cheaper, even though that would certainly solve the issue. I knew that would create an entirely different conflict, especially since my daughter is attending a school with a high price tag as well. But that school is where her father studied. It was her dream for years. I wasn't going to diminish that. My husband insists I'm being selfish. He says I'm teaching my daughter to be selfish too. He even suggested that by protecting the trust, I'm showing that I don't care about his kids the same way I care about mine. I love my stepkids. That has never been in question. But loving them doesn't mean taking what belongs to my daughter and giving it to them. It doesn't mean telling my child that the money tied directly to her father's death should be split 3 ways because it feels more fair on paper. Fair isn't always equal, and equal isn't always right. So here I am, wondering if standing firm makes me unreasonable. I want to protect my daughter's future. I want to honor the intention behind the trust. I want her father's memory to mean something more than a dollar amount divided 3 ways. I don't want to guilt my daughter into feeling like she has to give something up. And I refuse to let someone else guilt her either. I just don't know if I'm wrong for this. I don't know if I should feel guilty for not wanting to split her college fund. Am I wrong for wanting to protect my daughter's trust, exactly as it was intended? I hadn't thought about this account in years. In fact, I completely forgot it existed until a few days ago, when I saw my original post floating around on Facebook. People were sharing it, debating it, speculating about what happened. Out of curiosity, I logged back in and found far more message requests than I expected. Some not so kind, asking for an update. At first, I considered deleting everything and disappearing again. But then I figured, why not share the rest of the story? My daughter is now a junior in college. Yes, at her father's alma mater, the school she dreamed about attending since she was a child. She's doing incredibly well academically, even better than she gives herself credit for. She recently told me she wants to begin studying for the LSAT so she can apply to law school during her senior year. I felt so proud hearing that. I could have burst into tears. But pride is always followed by a sharp ache in my chest. Every milestone she reaches reminds me that her dad will never get to see the woman she's becoming. There's always that little twist of grief buried under the joy. Still, I'm grateful every day that I get to be the one here with her. As for the trust, the money stayed hers. I never wavered on that. But holding that line cost me my marriage. Things fell apart sooner than I expected. Honestly, I thought my husband and I would continue arguing about it quietly, disagreeing behind closed doors until the girls left for college. I was wrong. He went to my daughter without my permission. He approached her directly, alone, and tried to convince her to share the trust with her step-siblings. He tried to appeal to her emotions. From what she told me, he used words like fairness and being a good sister, and he suggested she would be helping the whole family. She came to me shaken and upset, saying she felt pressured and confused. That was it. That was the moment the marriage ended for me. I could forgive arguments. I could forgive differences in parenting philosophy. But going behind my back and making my teenage daughter feel responsible for solving a financial gap that wasn't hers to fix, that crossed a line I couldn't uncross. We separated that fall. The divorce was finalized this past summer. I never expected stepfamily relationships to get caught in the crossfire, but they did. My stepdaughter and I haven't spoken since the separation. I don't know if she blames me or my daughter, or if she simply wants distance from the entire situation. Whatever the reason, it hurts. I helped raise her. I thought we were close. Losing her felt like losing another family member. My stepson, thankfully, still reaches out often. That connection means more to me than he knows. After the divorce, I moved to a new city, new job, new house, new routine. Starting over in my 40s wasn't easy, but in some ways it felt refreshing. My life is quieter now, more peaceful. There's room to breathe again. And most importantly, my daughter is secure, emotionally, academically, and financially. The trust is intact. She'll be able to pursue graduate school without being crushed by debt. She'll enter adulthood with the head start her father would have wanted for her. I no longer question whether protecting that was right. It was. So that's the update. My daughter is thriving, I'm doing well. And life is moving forward. You learn, you heal, and you keep going. Thank you to everyone who helped me see I wasn't a monster for standing firm. Looking back, I'm grateful every day that I did. This will be my last update here. Be well.